It's time to sit down and relax for the good, the bad, and the sequel Q&A with your host, Doug.
Hey there, Doug here. I hope you're staying safe. I hope you're doing well. Happy Thursday. So over the last 18 months, I've had the opportunity to interview so many amazing folks in Hollywood that I grew up admiring. They worked on films that I grew up just watching over and over again. But nothing's going to top this interview. I had the opportunity to not only interview one Roberts, but two, Eliza and Eric Roberts. Eliza herself, she's Hollywood royalty. Her mom wrote on shows like Petticoat Junction, Bewitched, and her dad wrote huge movies like The Firm and Sabrina. And she's no slouch herself acting wise. She was in Schlock, which that movie, if you ever hear any interviews with John Landis and Rick Baker, they talk about that movie because it was their shot. That's what got them going. And she was also Brunella in Animal House. And Eric Roberts. Do I have to say anything else? Who doesn't know who Eric Roberts is? I joke about it in the interview. When he looks at his resume and he shows it to somebody, it just says Eric Roberts. You don't need his credits. There's a lot of credits on there, so it wouldn't fit on the paper. But man, being able to pick his brain about the whole process from some of his amazing performances. And then we just talked about baseball and just really talked about just film in general. There's so many movies to cover that he was in. But man, to be able to spend an hour with both of them and picking their brains, and they threw some huge compliments to me that made my head really big. So I think you're hear them across the way. You see my reaction if you're watching. If not, maybe you'll hear my blushing. I don't know. I'm going to stop yapping. And without further ado, Eric and Eliza Roberts. Enjoy.
Really incredible.
Eric Roberts did really good stick work in that movie.
He did. Dude, this is amazing looking at you guys. This is so cool.
Thank you very much.
Good to see you too.
This is so cool.
You look very movie starish.
Yeah. So I'm a huge movie fan. I'm a huge fan of yours. So I'm so happy that we were able to connect. But one thing I wanted to know is, especially in like Hollywood, how did you two meet? Was it anything when it was filming?
Really? Okay. So besides the fact that our circles were, we almost met so many times. We knew so many people in common.
As a producer and a cast director, she tried to cast me in a bunch of different stuff a bunch of different times. And I almost said yes like 3 times, but we missed each other.
Oh my God.
Actually, Streetcar Named Desire.
Oh, really?
Not on Broadway. The TV version that ended up with Anne Margaret and Treat Williams. We wanted Eric very much, and he felt that had been done, that the consummate performance had happened. We were all very upset with him because we felt we could do another consummate performance. But anyway, so I was doing a film with John Travolta and Benjamin Bratt in Florida and in New York, and flying back to LA on MGM Grand, and Eric was going out to do Best of the Best.
No, I was coming in from Rome, and I had to do a pickup shot in LA for the Roman film.
Oh, okay, that's the set you were on. Okay, so and we just happened. In those days on a plane, it was like a bus ticket. Or train ticket. You could change your reservation. It didn't matter. So I had changed my reservation, and at the last minute, changed it back because I was done with my work. And just kind of ran to the plane. We happened to be seated next to each other on MGM Grand Airlines. Yeah. And I had a script from my father, Intersection, the movie that ended up with Richard Gere and Sharon Stone. Oh, and Eric had stuff. I didn't want to talk shop, so I put my script under the seat and thought, I'm never going to get to read that thing. And then, we just started talking. He had a cat on his lap, Terrier.
I had a kitten.
Yeah, named Tender.
A chick magnet.
And also child magnet. Yeah, there were a lot of kids getting on the plane who wanted to see the kitty also. And then the best part was when I went home, when we landed, I went home and I had to quickly go to a play, or I was in a play. And I'm leaving the house. In those days, no cell phones, right?
Yeah, of course.
And my babysitter came to the door as I was leaving and said, "Hey, there's a call for you." And I'm like, "I'm late. I have to go." And I said, "Who is it?" He said, "Someone named Eric." And I was just, I don't know. he's like, dude, he covers the phone. He goes, this sounds like Eric Roberts. And I'm not going to tell Eric Roberts, who knows you're here because he hears me talking to you, that you're not here. You're taking this call or I'm going to die. And then I talked to Eric. He said, come to set when you're done with your play.
And that babysitter was Jeffrey Dean Morgan from Walking Dead.
What?
That's right. So Jeff takes responsibility for our entire relationship.
I owe Jeff my marriage to this woman because he said, Eric's on the phone. I don't know an Eric. If he hadn't said, it sounds like Eric Roberts, I would not have called back. She would not have taken the call over.
Wow.
But because he recognized my voice, I owe him this. I love him for that.
That's
kidding?
amazing.
Yeah.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
So what I like to do is ask people how, like, why they got into it. So like, Eric, for you, like growing up, when did you think about acting or even like stepping foot into that whole world?
It's all very mechanical and all very cut and dry. I had a terrible stutter. I couldn't talk to people. I would always embarrass myself. And
wow.
In grammar school, when you read in class, all the kids would laugh at me. I was the kid who talked funny, blah, blah, blah. But I found out when I memorized things, I didn't stutter because I knew what I was going to say. So that's how it all started. And it grew from there. And I became very proud of how I could do it. By the time I was about 8 or 10, I thought, I'm an actor. And so I just stayed with it.
Wow. What was your first step? Just doing like middle school theater or local community?
I was in an acting school as a little boy called the Actors and Writers Workshop in Atlanta, Georgia.
Oh, nice.
They were funded in part by the Martin Luther King Foundation. And we had a showmobile and we toured the underprivileged areas all week, at Theater in the Park on the weekends. So I was doing 8 to 12 plays a year by the time I was 8 years old. But I did my first play at 4. I played a mute clown in a Christmas play called Toys for Tots, so it was safe. And I fell off the stage in my first play because they took the toy box and they moved it from downstage left to upstage right because of lighting or something, or like the view from the audience. And they said, "No, don't forget." And of course I did. And the end of Act 1, I ran off the stage, lights went out, and bam, hit my face. And they took me back and put ice on me in the intermission, and I went back out for Act 2.
So you were always used to working a lot, even at a young age. You're doing, 8 to 12 plays a year, and you never stopped.
I was a theater kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's saying that your resume then.
Oh, yeah.
And now you're doing like 100 movies a year. Insane.
Well, it's all I've ever done, and it's all I know how to do, so I do it.
Yeah, and you must love it, obviously, and people love you to, it's not like you have to show a resume anymore. It's just a piece of paper that says Eric Roberts.
Well, I like to say this to all young actors, but I say it because I really mean it. I have the best job on the planet, and I've seen it. I've seen the whole place. I know what all the jobs are. I've got the best one, and I know that. So it's a great life, man, and I have it.
That's so cool. And you started acting. One of the movies you were in, Eliza, that was like, it's talked about so much by John Landis and Rick Baker, Schlock. And that is like, if you ever listen to anything that they interview or talk about, they owe everything to that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Rick Baker, that was amazing because he was a young kid. John Chambers, the world-renowned, makeup artist, Planet of the Apes, who then became famous again as a CIA operative or something in Ben Affleck's Study.
Oh, yeah.
So John Chambers, we had him play the National Guard, the head of the National Guard. So he didn't do any makeup for Schlock. And he did, and Schlock was John's first film.
Yeah.
But he trained Rick Baker, and Rick Baker was in Schlock because we were all like a bunch of teenagers. And then we went on to Animal House and everything. And when you make those movies at that stage in your life, you have no idea if anybody in the world is going to ever care.
Yeah, that's true.
Just especially comedies, you feel like it might be just one giant inside joke. So we were all kind of taken by surprise.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like.
That's amazing. And how about Animal House? Now, your role in that, were you at the bar? Was that your role?
Yeah.
No.
First, I wasn't.
You're at the bar, but she was the girl who let everybody in the sorority house, and she told Who's-He Faith that his girl had died.
That fondly.
Oh, yeah.
That was like an early catfish situation.
Yeah, really.
Think about it. Yeah, because they just found that in an article. I was Brunella at the desk. I was initially, this is something I haven't talked about a lot. I was supposed to play Shelley,
okay.
The other role, but I was pregnant when I did Animal House. So, so John changed roles on me because I couldn't take my top off because I was pregnant.
But also tell him about how you had done your Schlock just before Animal House for John. And that John Landis's your first movie, Schlock, and she was the star of it. It's like King Kong, but not.
Yeah.
Right. Well, that's why Rick Baker did that incredible makeup job of the Schlock monster, which is John. John Landis played that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's really something when you look back.
It's so cool, like the movies that you don't think will be the ones that these people talk about. And that's the one, whenever you see any interviews, like Rick Baker just had a book come out and he did a big round and he was talking about how much of an influence like that opportunity was for him.
Oh my God, we have to see that book. This is how we find out about things. It's from some and often it's years later. People, I'll hear that. She wrote a book. And when? Can I pre-order? And they're like 6 years ago. And I'll just be like, well, how did we miss that? Yeah, we got to get it from Amazon. Okay, thanks.
Yeah. So Eric, your first role on IMDb, obviously you were doing theater and that doesn't make it on there, but first credit on here is How to Survive a Marriage in 1974.
What was that?
I have no idea.
I don't blame you. I don't know how you remember any, like to do that many films.
1974. So I was,
18.
I was 17 or 18. And I don't know.
Here's what I think, because I was wondering about that too. We'll look it up and see who else was in it. Because he did a soap opera. He did Another World was before King of the Gypsies. I've seen How to Survive a Marriage on his IMDb. It must have had a different working title. And then
maybe.
There's something else. Because he's never known what that is.
Yeah.
I don't know my work bio, my titles anyway, because they change them a lot unless they're big major films.
Yeah.
Doug, you're giving us all these notes. We have to get Rick Baker's book. We got to look up How to Survive a Marriage.
Yes.
We have homework after this.
Show me your ink there, New York Yankees. Let me see your ink.
Yeah, well, I got Knicks, Yankees, and Giants.
Good man.
Wow.
Well, I half support you.
Oh, God.
My middle name's Thurman after Thurman Munson. My dad was a diehard Yankee fan, so it came to me now.
I don't want to make you mad. I'm a Mets fan.
That's fine.
I love them. I love the Mets.
How did you become a Mets fan? Because you grew up in Mississippi, then Atlanta?
No, I grew up in Atlanta. I was only in Mississippi for like 3 days.
Oh, really? Okay.
Just was in a hospital. Yeah. What was the question?
Mets. How come you love the Mets?
Oh, yeah, because the 85 Mets, I was making a movie, and I went back and forth through every game. I had this long drive to make, and I listened to all the games on my long hour and a half to 3 hour drive. And I just got into the Mets that year, and they barely won every playoff. They barely won the series. And it's, oh, my God, the Mets. I just fell in love with them and never fell out.
Hey, I love them because they beat the Red Sox, so that's cool.
Hey, good man.
And then, so you got to think that when you look at people's careers, I interviewed a lot of people, and it's like they have all these really small roles, and then it happens. But for you, King of Gypsies, when that came about, that was it. That blew everything up for you right from the beginning.
I got very lucky. Francis, Frank Pearson, and Dino De Laurentiis, wanted me for that movie, and I became a movie star, kind of out of the box, and just reveled in it. Couldn't believe it, And so my next movie was Art. I did a thing called Paul's Case, based on a Willa Cather novella, and for PBS, the American Short Story series. And then I went back to the theater and did a play called Mass Appeal, Milo O'Shea, and tried to stick to my art roots, but Hollywood kept calling, and I eventually went and never came home.
Yeah. When was the last time you've done theater?
Well, when did I do the thing about the Vietnam vets?
Well, that was a long time. Exonerated was actually the last time.
Oh yeah, Exonerated. Yeah, so that was what, 5 years ago, 7 years ago?
He's been offered a lot of theater every year. 2 or 3 offers. It's so complicated because it's very hard to work it out with. Well, I mean, now it's just totally changed.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, but it's hard to work it out with the schedule. It's a big commitment, but it is his first love. But he did The Exonerated. That was a staged reading. A lot of great people were involved, and it was the true stories of, when DNA came out and Barry Shack and all that. It was a lot of people's stories who were falsely accused.
Oh, wow.
And he played somebody named Terry, who was in jail for 27 years, who had not committed the crime. And the real people were with us during that production. We toured. We were in New York and Atlanta and Detroit and some other places. It was amazing. That was really powerful.
Cool. That's cool. You could still go back to your love. Obviously, it's hard with your schedule, but that's cool. You're able to do that every so often.
The problem with it. Theater is so much fun. It's the most fun for an actor, but they don't pay you well, so you can't really support yourself with theater. It's not fair. Yeah,
and that's what, I think that's the best thing you just said is you love it the most because of that instant gratification. Because you can have a movie come out. The only way you know if people love it, obviously, if they see you on the streets, but also if you sit in the back of the theater. Have you ever done that for an opening night?
Many times. I love doing that. Are you kidding? It's my favorite thing. It's so much fun. And it can make you very unhappy too.
Oh, I bet.
Because you hear really direct comments at the screen, like, what the ba. And you're like, hey, come on, it's me. But it's the way it goes.
Oh, that's great. You have a hat on, like a low hat, so nobody knows it's you. Because everybody would know it's you if you're just like chopping on popcorn in the back seat, in the back row. But yeah, right away, like all these Golden Globe nominations within, the first 7 years of your career, 3 times nominated.
I learned you kind of have to be current, A-stream, under contract to a major studio to get those nominations.
Really?
You're kind of marginalized. Yeah. You have to be in the mainstream, and I've been out of the mainstream for most of my career.
Well, I know when it comes to that, but I don't think that everybody knows who you are still. Every time you pop up, it's Eric Roberts, the full name.
Thank you.
I know what you mean. That's really true. I mean, I'm on the road with him. I travel with him and stuff, whether it's just to the supermarket or to China. It doesn't matter. Everybody knows you. It's different with masks. That's the first disguise that's ever kind of worked, at all.
In a way.
He's tried everything in the upper face and the head, right? He's never really tried a mask before, but that's kind of effective-ish. Usually Eric's like, how did they know it was me? Like, hoodie, glasses, and hat, and, and looking down and whatever. And people are like, Eric.
That should be a movie instead of, being John Malkovich, being Eric Roberts, and he's like trying to do all these costumes or wigs and everything.
They should do a Being series and just have a different person every week.
That'd be cool.
That would be amazing.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Well, one thing I think that's really cool about Eric, and I think obviously people want to work with you. You want to keep working, but I think it's your relationships like on screen. I watched a couple movies that probably are ones that when people think of you, it's not going to be the first ones. But one I loved was Ambulance.
Oh, thank you.
Dude, what an awesome movie. I can't believe I've never seen that.
Oh, yeah. What's the director's name?
Michael Dinner.
Larry Cohen. I loved him so much. We just lost him last year. It might have been earlier this year. He was a wonderful, endearing, hardworking movie geek. I loved him, and he was me, and I just loved him. And we had so much fun making that movie. It was a hard movie to make because it was all shot in New York on a street, runaway ambulance, and it was hard, man. And as you saw, I rolled down a 6 blocks hill on a gurney, and we really did that.
Oh my God!
happened. There was no editing. You saw it hold down that deal like where they got to. It was insane, but we had so much fun. That's one of my labors of love. I've always loved the best.
Did you know this? Now looking back, I don't know if you knew this or not, but that's the first time Stan Lee ever appeared like on camera as himself.
I know that because he promised Larry Cohen he would. I know that. Yeah.
That is so cool. No, and I really like James Earl Jones's character in that because that was like a different role for him. The way he's like chewing the gum and acting like more like a smart ass.
I know. He was the police chief or the police captain.
He was like the detective that didn't believe you the whole movie.
Right. Yeah, right.
But no, that was a really cool fic. It was a really cool idea because the way it opened up, you're like hitting on this girl. It was like the credits were still there and the movie you were already into, and it was pretty cool.
I'm just going to go to the door to answer Instacart.
Oh, don't worry about it.
You guys keep talking.
We will. And then another one that I watched that was really rad that I never saw was the one, The Nature of the Beast with you and Lance Hendrickson.
Nature of the Beast. Lance Henriksen takes my breath away in that movie. He's one of my favorite actors anyway, but in that movie, he is so precise, perfect, that guy, and you don't see it coming. I just love that so much about his work.
Now, him and you on screen, I think it's with everyone you work with, honestly. And I think that's what, this isn't like kissing your ass, but you know, like Michael Jordan, he's like the best ever because he makes everybody, not only because of who he is, but making everyone better. And I don't know if you do that every time.
I'm not a humble guy, but let me tell you, I don't make Lance Henriksen better. That's a real actor, man.
Oh, no, I'm not just saying him. I just think your connection with people, because like I watched, Runaway Train, and just you and John Voight is just, it's gold, man. How did you do that accent? Did you do like talking to people locally, or how do you do that?
That's so funny you asked me that because my whole family talks like that. In fact, my cousin Adam, he was here just the other day, and he talks just like that. And he's my first cousin. He's my guy. I love Adam to death, but he talks like that. And that's my family. And my grandfather talked like that, but the boys would talk like, hey, throw me a bottle. And he's a redneck. And that's my family, dude. In fact, yeah.
That's so awesome. And I love the people in that movie because it's early roles for Danny Trejo. Was that his first movie?
The writer of Runaway Train said to me, the director said, okay, today I want you to pick out a guy to box you. You get to pick him, but it has to be one of the inmates who's just got out of jail because we're doing a thing for ex-inmates, blah, blah, blah. Great, okay. So Eddie Bunker, who wrote Runaway Train, said to me, I want you to do me a favor. What's the favor? I want you to pick a guy who I want you to box, okay? Sure, I'll pick that guy. Who is it? He's a Mexican with a tattoo. Pick him. Okay, I will. To line them all up. It's about a dozen guys, and they're all Mexican, and they all have tattoos. So I say, wait a second, and I get Eddie. I say, Eddie, they're all Mexican, they all have tattoos. What do I do? He's got this kid on his chest with a sombrero. You can't miss it. Great big. So I go back. I see him. I say, I want that guy. And he comes out, and he started crying because he'd been picked. He was so moved. He started, and then we're boxing. At one point, the director says, can Eric actually hit you in the face if he pulls the punch? And he said, for what they're paying me, I think he was making $200. He said, for what they're paying me, he can hit me in the face all he wants. That's Danny Trejo.
Wow.
So the fight, when I hit him in the face, I really hit him in the face, but not hard. But
yeah, but still. And then it's cool. Not too long later in the movie, just before during the escape, Tiny Lister, young Tiny Lister.
Yeah, Tiny with the he was pushing the cart.
Yeah, and he had the magazines. You distracted him with like these porno magazines. Yeah.
Right, that's right. Oh, in the elevator. Elevator. That's right. I'm remembering that. Yeah. Tiny.
God, was that movie shot up in Alaska? Because the weather is pretty brutal.
But here's what happened. We were supposed to shoot that movie in Montana. And we all were in Montana as it thawed. So we sit there for 5 days watching it melt, no snow left. And our producer says it takes place in Alaska. We go to Alaska. So he put the whole crew in the cast on an airplane to Alaska, and we landed at a great ski resort in Anchorage, and we stayed there for a couple of months. It was fabulous, dude.
What was Jon Voight like? Because he seems like a guy that is like, he's the character from like 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Like he stays in it.
Well, let me tell you something that always shocks people. Jon is about 6'1" or 6'2", and Jon weighed 160 pounds. His whole body, he looks huge, right? It's a bodysuit. He's a skinny old guy. But got that bodysuit, and look at his performance. When you know that about the guy, and you see that, I mean, he's brilliant in that movie. And that's the hard part to play because he's not a likable guy. But you have to find a way in to make the audience want to understand and or be a part of you and or be a part of you know. And he did that. I don't know how, but he did that. And I just love working with him. I don't hang out with Jon. I'll be honest with you. I don't really know Jon Voight, the person. I do know Jon Voight, the actor. And we tore it up, I felt, together. But I don't really know Jon Voight, the guy.
Yeah. Well, I guess it's like that a lot with a lot of people you work with. You're like friends and family for a few months, and then it's like, see ya.
That's exactly what it is, pal. And the first half a dozen times that happens, you're heartbroken.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah, you're like, oh, dude, I love this person.
Call me, come on.
Yeah, right. And yeah, exactly. And then after 30, 40 movies, you're like, see ya. And, you know, everybody be happy. Bye-bye. And it's easy and it's fun now. It was really hard the first half dozen movies. It's like, oh, my family died. It's so, but.
No, that's true. No, so I interviewed Larry Henkin, which I know you know Larry, or you ran into him a few times. I actually interviewed him like a couple days after you guys ran into each other at one of those autograph shows. And he told me about that whole experience. Like when you're in a movie, you have this relationship for like those 2-3 months. And then it's hard afterwards because you grow close. Like he grew close to John Ashton on a movie. And he's like, we hung out like every day. But then when it's over, everybody goes on to the next thing.
I know.
Everybody's got homes and wives or girlfriends or boyfriends or children or dogs or something. And it doesn't include you, pal. See ya.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So another person that you worked with well, and it just seems like, again, like just, I don't know if it's just something. It's not, because it works every time. So I know the other people you work with are good too. But like you and Mickey Rourke, did you know him prior to that?
Not at all. And Mickey and I, that whole relationship is actually based on the fact that, like one time I asked Mickey, well, that whole relationship as those characters is all based on the fact that I never got a cue from Mickey. Mickey never learned his lines. So everything I'm doing there is trying to get my cue to say my next line. That's kind of, so that characters' incredible desperation and emergency behavior all comes from working with Mickey because he's a genius, but he's not your typical actor.
What was like? Have you worked with him since? Or
yes, I have. In fact,
cool.
He and I have worked together now twice since, and one time I'm very proud of. One time didn't really matter, but one time it was a thing called Spun, and I was out. He played a speed dealer, and I was the guy who supplied him with the speed. And when I got the script, it was a guy without a shirt, very cut up, blah blah blah, and all these girls. You know, that was my character. So I called the director and I said, you know, that's been done a lot. Can we change it where I can be gay, very feminine with a bunch of boys? And he said, sure, that's a great idea. So he gave me one boy, and I
couple.
Did you make a couple?
I think so.
And I played this guy who loves Mickey Rourke and tells him speed, and it was just so much fun. You should check it out.
Fun. I'll check it out.
For the movie Spun, SPUN. Mickey is phenomenal in it.
Yeah, no, I'll check it out.
In fact, he's as good as that as he is in Barfly. Did you ever see Barfly?
No.
That's my favorite performance of Mickey Rourke.
Really?
But you got to watch it, dude.
Is that 80s Mickey or recent?
80s.
I have no idea. It's 80s or 90s?
Yeah, certainly not. Well, certainly not recent.
Well, it's not.
Okay, cool.
It's unbelievable, dude. You're gonna.
It was wild to see him when he was in The Wrestler, just because I feel like I didn't see him for years, and I knew him from his early work growing up, and then just seeing him in that movie, it's just like,
I know,
crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, we hadn't seen him for years. Then did you see him in the Spirit Awards when he gave that shout out to Eric?
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Crazy? That was so,
isn't that crazy that the relationships, you film a movie for 3 months and sometimes you say goodbye, but sometimes it's like that bond is always there.
The bond in between us has kind of been held in by the public.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even this, even like the podcast or interview or whatever, you create a real moment with the person and then you follow them forever. But you really want to hold on to it even more. It's a thing.
No, that's true. That's what it is about. That's what's so great about film and TV, because you have that moment in time that you watch, that 90 minutes, 2 hours. It's something that you always can go to. And I don't know.
I like that you're writing things down with an actual pen. Like your age, usually you say write it down, and what you mean is you're putting it in your phone.
I don't know how old you think I am, but now with my age, we have a daughter now. She's 17 months now, and just like, shoot, I feel that I've aged so much in the last 17 months.
Well, okay.
We have a granddaughter who's exactly that age.
Exactly that age. What's your daughter's birthday?
Christmas.
Okay. All right. She's more than 17 months.
She's more, I threw the age off.
Don't tell mom that you said 17 months.
No, I know when she was born. Just when it gets past the 1 year and the days that people do.
I'll tell you, because our granddaughter actually is 17 months. But guys don't know that. And she has 2 moms, so all of us women know that. And she's a woman. She's a girl. She's 17 months. But I had this
540 days old.
No.
Oh, you're 40 days old. Yeah.
No, I had my daughter when she was 14 months old was on a show called Book of Lists, and it was her and a chimpanzee and some other babies. And Billy Crystal was the host, and so he asked how old she was. He was asking each baby, and all of us moms did it by months. I mean, because until they're like 3, you do it by months.
Yeah.
I said 14 months. He goes, well, why can't you say a year? I'm like, no, she's not a year. Can't you say a year and a half? I'm like, no. He goes, okay, I have a daughter. She's 97 months old. And I've been calculating people's ages by months ever since.
Great.
Your child doesn't make you older. It makes you young. But congratulations.
Thank you. No, I just feel like the way I think has changed, which is what it should do.
Yeah, because you're a parent.
I love it. It's the best thing that's ever happened to me.
The best. The best. So right. Congratulations.
Thank you. So Eric, the transition of when you look at your IMDb, there was this part that went to just badass, because best of the best. Was that something you've ever done before? Like martial arts or anything like that?
I tinkered with it my whole life.
You did? Okay.
And then best of the best was just playing cowboys and Indians, dude.
Yeah.
It was so much. Oh, I'm not supposed to say that. That's not PC. It was like playing gangsters.
Okay.
It was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So is that the first time that opportunity came up to play that type of role, and you just jumped at it?
To play a like your father hero athlete? Yes. Yeah.
That's again, James Earl Jones. That's the first time you worked with him, I think, right?
Yeah. And James and I made fast friends then. Yeah.
Yeah. What a great movie. And then the sequel, I don't know why I love the first one, but the sequel just has this because UFC was still young at the time, and just the whole Wayne Newton running this underground fighting ring. It was just such a cool flick.
Well, I got a story about Wayne Newton. So we're casting that, and the casting director keeps just sending us all these bad guys to play this guy. Like, we're going to kill people. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. No. We want a guy who owns a club, and he looks like a club owner. He looks like he'd be a great guy. It's just what he does is not great. But he has to come across like somebody you want to introduce to your family, maybe,
Yeah.
Like who, Eric? Who would that be? And I said, I don't know. Wayne Newton. I just said that. So they checked on his availability, and he said yes. So we got Wayne Newton, and we made fast friends. And at the end of the movie, he invited me to his ranch. I went. I arrived in the afternoon. We had a little early dinner. I went to bed early, and I got up with the sun. I looked at his gorgeous place. I go down to his barns. There's nobody up. It's barely light. And I found this wonderful little mare, and I'm gonna play with her mouth. And like Wayne's behind me suddenly, he goes, "Hey, do you ride?" And I said, "Yeah." He goes, "Now actors saying they ride, but do you ride?" And so I give him my history of riding, blah, 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 blah. Okay, saddle up, let's go out. So we went out for hours, early in the morning, all over Las Vegas. He knows his way around there on a horse like nothing going. And we get back, we're on a hill overlooking the state, and he goes, "Let's run him in." We fly him in. He goes, "I never saw an actor ride like you. Pick a horse. I want you to." I said, "I can't afford your horse." They sold it for $250,000. "I can't afford your horse." No. Pick a horse. I want to give you one of these. I said, "Why?" He said, "Because you ride like a rider." And because my grandfather had horses, I love them. So I said, "I love this mare." He said, "I'm going to send her to you in like whatever it was, 6 weeks, whatever." I said, "Okay." I get home, I kind of forget. And the phone rings about 6 weeks later. I'm on the East Coast, and the phone rings, and it's his ranch foreman, and he has that horse ready. Where do you want her sent? "Oh God, well, send it to the West Coast. I'll be out there tomorrow." So I fly to the West Coast. This horse arrives, and she's pregnant. That's why he kept her 6 weeks. He bred her. So I got 2 white Arabs from Wayne Newton.
Oh my God!
I named the mare Silk and the boy Sagan after Carl Sagan. Silk just died last year from twisting. She was 30, and I'm sorry, she was 30. Yeah, and Sagan is still around.
Oh my God! Where do you keep them? Like, do you have property like that, or are you in LA?
They were on the West Coast. He was on the West Coast with me up till this year, and I said the East Coast because I was on the road so much and I couldn't ride him. And he's that kind of guy. He has to be ridden. He's real temperamental, and he loves me, and he gets really pissed off if I don't show up. So I have somebody with him, So I sent him to the East Coast for 4 months.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's what he's doing right now.
What are the chances? And Wayne Newton. It's funny because in Vegas Vacation, I didn't think he really had something like that, but maybe they actually used his house in that movie because he has that ranch.
He's got a great spread, man. It's a great spread. It's everybody's fantasy.
Wow. So you've played obviously a ton of characters. Do you like playing like the hero more, or because I know recently like a lot of those Lifetime movies, and even like I guess towards the late 90s, you played more of like the villain. Is there one that you like playing more than the other?
In 1982-3, I made a movie called Star 80. I played Paul Snyder, who was, the murderer husband of the Playboy Playmate of the Year 1980, Dorothy Stratton. Ever since that movie, they wanted me for bad guys more than good guys.
Really?
And love the bad guys because you get the best dialogue, the best clothes, the best car, the woman who looks the most available, and you get to die usually. It's fun, dude. So I love playing the bad guys best, but I'm an actor. I'm an actor all the way down to my bone marrow. I love acting anything.
Is there a role that, because you've played a lot of roles, but is there any type of role that you'd love to play that's out there?
Actually, what I'm looking for now is a dichotomy. I kind of played a little bit in a movie I played for an Italian director very recently, an Italian film, and I play a man and his conscience. So I play these two guys, but what I want to do is I want to play a real dichotomy. I want to play like a real straight cop who has to go undercover as a drag queen. Now that's an extreme example.
Yeah.
That's a kind of opposite dichotomy in the same movie. That's what I'm after now.
That's cool, man. I'm sure you can get it going. Do you write at all?
I write nothing. I write nothing, and you know they've offered to have me direct maybe 300 times. Please direct this movie. I'm not a director.
Yeah.
And it's a real job. It requires a very mature person, and I'm an actor, and we're different, and so yeah.
No, and then you have to like pay attention to do too much, and you're not able to act because it's hard to be the director and the actor.
Well, I was also told when I started saying, yes to everything that I wanted to actually do, which is a lot of stuff. I was told you're going to ruin yourself. You're going.
I'm still here.
I know. I can tell.
Okay.
You're going to be overexposed. You're going to ruin yourself. Blah blah blah. But that apparently hasn't happened, or if it's going to happen, it's happening now, and I don't know it yet. So we'll see.
Yeah. Wow. See if I can get this video back up, or I'll just switch to this guy. We're good.
There you are.
I just look a little worse now. My camera died for the better looking camera. But so you have a lot coming out. So is there anything that you're especially? I'm sure all the roles that you do you're excited for. But is there any roles that you're especially excited for coming up?
Well, we have one more week. We had to close down because of COVID. We were shooting Stalked by My Doctor Part 5. Wow! And when I first got offered this movie, Stalked by My Doctor, I turned it down based on the title. I said, I can't do that. And my wife said, no, you have to read it. It's really good. So I read it, and it was really good. It was really good. It was a study in a guy who was basically a pedophile. And when you understand pedophiles, we all want to kill them. And then you understand they're only pedophiles because they too were, molested as young people. And that's what a pedophile is, someone who has been there. So when you know that, I mean, oh my God, it's so tragic. But I played this guy, and it went over so well, they did a part 2. Okay, that went over so well, they did a part 3. That went over insanely well, so they did a part 4, and it topped the first 3. So we just did a part 5, and we have a week to go because of the heat and also COVID. We had to shut down.
Yeah, I interviewed an actress that was in the first one. Her name's Crystal Allen. Yeah, she was pretty cool.
Yeah, she is cool, man.
No, that is awesome, man. And then there was like some roles over the years. Like I said, when people it's Eric Roberts. So like, how do you end up in an Akon music video?
Well, he saw the Killers video, and he said, "Mine." I said, "Okay."
And you're in a club, and you're his lawyer, right?
What happened with the music videos was, when the Killers called me, I turned them down because I didn't want to be in videos. I didn't know any better. And my kids call me and they say, "Dad, what are you doing? No, you can't do that. Call him back. Say you'll do it. Call him back. So I did. I called him back. Said, "Will you take me back?" Because my kids say I can't say no. Yeah. And they said, "Yes, of course." So this great director, Sophie Mueller, she directed probably the best video I've ever been in. I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, but the Killers video is fantastic.
Yeah.
And so I did that for her, and I said to her partway through it, I said, "What am I playing, Sophie?" She said, "A pimp." So I don't know if that's true or if she was joking, but I think maybe it's true.
Yeah. And then your role in Entourage is something that is just out of this world.
Those kids were so much fun. You know what happened with that? There's straight behind that too. I watched that show, and about the 5th time I heard them saying my name, because they're always saying my name. The 5th I heard him say my name. I called my lawyer because he handles all those writers. And I said, if they're going to talk about me, have them have me on the show, dude. He goes, I'll ask him. He calls me right back. Oh, man, they want you on the show, but one condition. What? Will you sell mushrooms? I said,
Yeah. And it was cool because you had like a random guy walking around your house, and you had the new batch, and you guys went out to jog. And just the way you talked to Ari, we rewatched it last night, man. That's a great episode.
But have to give the writers and the director and all the showrunners all the credit on that show. That show was miraculous. And
Oh yeah.
Because of them, all of us actors were all fine, but we were just cogs in the wheel. They ran a great show, dude. That was
Yeah.
cool show.
Oh my God, man. So what is it? Obviously you love acting, and now knowing like your personal story behind starting acting, the memorization of everything, what keeps you doing it? I know you love it, but is it just that, is there like a rush, like arriving on set?
Well, there is a rush, but it's also seeing the world for free. If that doesn't sound too crummy, too lightweight, but I've seen the world for free with my wife, and I get to play things that I would never get to play in like big time movies that are being done in like Nova Scotia, in India, in Peru, wherever, and I'm playing a schizophrenic doctor. I would never get to play that anywhere, but in that movie, in that city, on that day. So it's like I get so much that I wouldn't get otherwise. Because my wife about 1993 said, everybody's starting to buy those HD cameras. Do you think it'll stick? I said, I don't know. It depends on the look of the camera, because they look really bad. They look like a home movie. And then about 2008, they started looking a little better. So from 2008 to 2018, I got about a dozen offers every day from all over the world. So my wife and I started saying yes, and we started traveling. So that's when those hundreds of movies happened in that like 10-year period. And because I was on a different set like every other day.
That's awesome. That's cool. You get to do it with your wife. I'm sure that makes it so much better. Like going on the journey with someone.
Also, she's the brains of the outfit, pal. Believe me. Yeah.
All right. Well, you think of her lineage, her mom and dad.
Yeah, I know.
Legends.
She's Hollywood royalty, pal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then is she still doing any casting? I know, obviously not right now, but.
Well, not this week, no. But
yeah.
But everybody calls her, from the A-listers to the D-listers. They call her, we need help. Oh, please help us. And she does. She helps everybody. Yeah.
So since you love it so much, when your daughter started acting, did you kind of like want her to go in that direction because you love it so much? I didn't
want to be an influence either way.
Oh, cool.
I want her to decide by example, and watch me by example. That's what dad does, blah, blah, blah. Okay. That's what my aunt does, blah, blah, okay, blah, blah. They're famous, my aunt's the biggest star in the world. My dad's not bad. Okay, what do I do? And she made a choice. And she's obviously having a good time.
Yeah.
She has become a real actor. I'm very proud of her. I'm so proud of her.
I interviewed the writer and one of her co-stars in her first big film, Nancy Drew.
Nancy Drew.
Yeah.
I love that movie.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
It's such a big, you got to think how big those stories are for kids growing up, the Nancy Drew series. And then she's able to play that character. That's pretty cool.
It was fantastic.
Have you worked with her at all?
No, I haven't. We three who were in the movies and on TV, if we're ever going to be together, it has to be on occasion.
Yeah.
And the boss of that occasion would be the biggest star, which would be Julia. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I think it'd be cool. Have you ever worked with Ryan Murphy?
No, I haven't, but I'm a fan.
Yeah. No, because Emma, right? She did Scream Queens. I think that was him.
That's right. Yeah.
Because I can see you being in American Horror Story or one of those type of shows.
Call the producers.
Okay. So there's so many movies to talk about, and this is just cool, just shooting the shit with you. But so another one that is on the list of such a cool, your scene with Sly in The Specialist, when he's spying on you in the car with Sharon Stone. That is such a cool scene.
Oh, with the knife?
Yeah.
I got a story about that.
Nice.
So another story. So my wife and I, one night I'm off in that movie, and I know they're shooting at night. out on the storefront in the street. And I said to my wife, let's go with the crowd and sneak up and watch. She goes, okay. So we do. We find him, we go, and we're in the crowd, we're watching. And like suddenly Sly, as if he knew I was always there, goes, hey, Ever. I said, what? How's it going, buddy? Ever, I'm just thinking, in front of everybody, all the fans, all the people watching, the cast, the crew. I'm just thinking, we don't have a scene together. I said, so write one. I will. I'll write one tonight, and we'll shoot it tomorrow. I said, well, I got to learn it. He goes, you'll learn it. And so, but he wrote it that night, and we shot it about a week later. And it's that scene.
That's amazing. I love that scene.
Isn't that cool story?
Yeah. He's just like staring at you. I think he says like maybe one or two lines, and you're just looking at him, and then the knife just shows up like right near his eye.
Yep.
That is. Do you have a favorite moment of your career? Obviously, there's so many, but is there one that like sticks out to you that you're like, wow, I just did that?
Well, I have your many moments.
Yeah.
But probably my most favorite accomplishment as an actor who accomplished what he set out to do was when I lose my thumb in Poe.
Yeah.
And I talk for 3 pages about, because I'm all drugged up in the hospital and I've had my thumb fixed and talking about what happened and blah, blah, blah. And it was a very long monologue, and I did it in 2 takes.
Wow.
And I was scared to death of it, like I've never been scared of anything in my life. And it could not wait, like a honeymoon. I couldn't wait. And so it was the hardest, most frightening thing I've ever enjoyed, except skydiving.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Whew. I don't know about that. I don't know if I can do that.
Looking like sunglasses. Doug, do his glasses look tinted?
They are
tinted. A little bit. It looks different than his, a little bit.
Yeah, because he was wondering if these are his ones that react to the light or his other ones.
These react to the light. I was wrong.
Okay, you're wrong. Okay. Thank you.
No problem. No, so I was asking him before because you're like Hollywood royalty, and he was saying a lot of people always reach out to you, but it's pretty amazing when you look at what your parents did. It's phenomenal. Yeah,
thank you. I know, it's really funny. You don't think about it while it's going along.
Of course.
All that stuff is mind-blowing. When we, for instance, with Animal House, we were invited, I was invited, and so was Keaton, my son, who I was pregnant with, to our 40th reunion in Cottage Grove, where the Dexter Lake Club is. And it's untouched. Same wallpaper, everything. And he performed with Otis Day on that stage. And I mean, he was a fetus. He was an unborn child. At that moment when I was 24 years old, and there was that in a million years. And it feels like it happened like that.
Yeah.
In a million years, you can't imagine that this baby that I'm carrying is going to be on that stage with that artist in this place. And that, all of it, everything. So the same thing with my parents' careers. It's mind-blowing. We think it sometimes when we're just watching TV, and pretty much there's new movies coming out back in the day when movies came out. Yeah. And where there's nothing that doesn't have people we know well in it.
Yeah.
And we realize that's not true of everybody. But you sort of take it for granted, and you also don't know if it means something or if it means nothing. It's just fun.
Oh, yeah. When you were growing up, were you on the sets of the shows, like visiting and stuff?
No, I do remember the Bewitched set and the Lucy set. So I was definitely on those sets. It was, they were writers. Once they became producers and directors, and one day at a time. And definitely, I was on the All in the Family set a lot because I was in All in the Family. So I couldn't not be on that set, obviously.
Yeah.
The television show of all time.
I know. It's like, how'd you like when they did the live one on ABC?
Yeah. I cried. I mean, it was so amazing. First of all, to realize this is sort of the tail end of when that's going to mean something to anybody.
Oh.
Yeah.
And it was so huge at the time. And to hear that it was that huge to a bunch of people now. So I just thought it was fantastic.
Yeah. Woody was great.
Yeah.
And him and Marissa Tomei, like playing and singing the song in the beginning, like just like started it perfectly.
100%. It was really, really well done. That was great that Jimmy Kimmel did that.
That's really cool. So are you, so when you were casting in the 90s, what is that like? Because you did both ends of it. Do you like, is there obviously there's a different feeling being on the opposite side of that room, not auditioning, but auditioning people. What was it that you liked about doing casting?
Well, there's a lot, we have a program called Working Actor, and it's a really good thing to talk about because it's very helpful are you an actor also in addition to?
No.
We should be. Okay, so you have a thing. It's really great because it's a lot like actors who direct. You really grow as an actor doing casting because when you're on the other side, you're so relaxed, and nerves and that unrelaxed feeling of begging for a part, that gets you inhibited. Inhibition is the enemy of the actor. You are in a pure giving position. You're in the support position as a casting director. So if you can act at all, you're going to read your best. You're going to find out that that's what you want to achieve. You want to achieve that level of openness when you're on the other side.
Yeah.
Really feed each other. And I think I recommend it.
Yeah.
The industry hates it. But screw them. Tough shit. Sorry. I'm on the show, but that's what I think. Okay.
Have you ever directed at all? Because you have that.
Yeah, well, I do a lot of coaching. That's one of my main.
Well, everything you ever see me do, she's already directed me before I'm on set.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's why you guys are like the best team. He talked about it when you were away. I don't know if like you bells are ringing, but he was talking about that, just like how you guys are a team, and that's how you got to do things. That's why you're still doing it and still loving doing it.
Actually, on my part, it's totally selfish. I mean, this is how I look good, and I know that. So it's like I have no issue asking the okay, honey, we got to work on this. I'll be proud of it.
Yeah,
that's so cool.
I love that part of the collaboration.
That's
also acting hasn't changed. Remember, Eric came into it when it was about character and about creating something very, very far from yourself. And in the meantime, there was a huge revolution in the art itself, where now it was about really being organic, listening, spontaneous, changing things, not kind of getting things locked. And some actors didn't make the transition, and he was a little uncertain as to whether he wanted to, and a little, it was a change, and he's managed to find a way to kind of do both, which is very cool.
Yeah.
But that was kind of fun, and nobody was going to kind of take him there unless they were really comfortable with him. So that was another kind of fun thing that happened, don't you think?
Yeah. Well, I just followed her. She no. I said, what's going on? She goes, well, what we have, and she explains to me about all these new actors and what they're doing. And what you do is this, and what you have to do is incorporate. So blah, 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 blah. I'm like, thanks for the lesson. I'll go try. And kind of how it works in my house.
Yeah, no, that's cool. So since you guys have both been in the industry for a long time, what would you say? Obviously, the way things are put out nowadays are like, Netflix, Amazon, and everything. What is another big change to the industry? Do you feel like it's different? Like the whole process, like on set, is it more rushed or what is it?
It's not controlled by the artist anymore. Artists stopped running Hollywood. Lawyers run Hollywood. So now we have HD. We have no film. It's much, faster, easier to shoot, much cheaper, and everything is about speed now. It's not about quality. It's not about the acting was so good in that movie. No, it's not about that. It's about it's about the movie and all the explosions and all the stuff and all the special effects. And even the love stories, they shoot them differently now, where they're shot not attractively. They're not shot like a romance or a hopeful fantasy. They're shot like a documentary that you don't like it. Tough. This is life. And it's like. But I go to the movies to escape. I don't go to the movies to have my face rubbed in the stuff I don't love. And so I have issues with the new moviedom, but I also love what I do that it doesn't much matter to me. So
yeah, no, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I mean, it definitely has changed also because there's a visual on everybody. You know, the YouTube and everything else. The lines are blurred, and also the audiences have for a while now demanded way more than to see the performance. They want inside your life, and they want to register with you. They want you inside their lives.
Well, they want to act with you, and they want to be on screen with you because they think you as an actor. So they want to act with you. It's like, okay, so you're a plumber. I'm going to plumb with you because I like it. No, that's kind of how I feel about it all. Like,
oh, I bet.
Confusing, but okay, here we go. And I have made maybe a couple of dozen, literally, home movies that people pay me to come be in their home movie, and I do
basically.
And actually, it is so much fun because you see what we all think and what we all fantasize about is actually happening in front of you. Somebody's making a home movie about their life for themselves, and it's and you can call it vain or you call it self-centered. It's just fun to them, and you have to give them credit for just allowing it to be because they can afford it. Okay, here's what we're doing. I'm going to spend $50,000 on this movie, and it's going to only be 20 minutes long. Okay, and I got Eric Roberts in it. Okay, great. What fun.
No, I think you're right. Exactly. It's definitely like, how quick can we shoot it? And to like kind of circle back, like Rick Baker, like that old school, like special effects, that's what makes movies beautiful. Like when it's actually like real, but now when you see a movie and it's shot like all on green screen, you can just tell that sometimes it works. It definitely does. Cause those movies, make money, but visually as like a movie lover, and I love like the 70s, 80s, 90s films. It's just like, that none of that's real at all.
Well, movies peaked with The Conversation, Godfather 1 and Godfather 2 in a row. Oh my God, that's a movie peak.
Yeah. I wouldn't say that. I would say best of the best.
No.
No, but I love all types of movies, but I know you mean like it's so hard to beat like our whole realm of what the show that I do. It's about like movie sequels, and it's just like you were talking about like Stalked by the Doctor. Now they're going to be number 5. It's so hard to obviously get an audience to like a movie enough that hey, we're going to throw it at you again. But just how the way it's different, like Best of the Best 2. How it's like a completely different element of a film, and they have like the Wayne Newton element added into it. That's why I love sequels, because it's like, where can they take this?
Yeah, everybody wants a sequel to Pope, understandably. That's so obvious.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Reboots and sequels. Even in music videos, Eric did a prequel and a sequel. Like he did, the Mariah Carey is always going to be 2. And they're part of telling a story. Of course, music videos are not linear, so you can't, you don't even, we don't understand what the hell that was about, so whatever. And then when he did Mr. Brightside with the Killers, years later, they brought him for the prequel, Miss Atomic Bomb. Whatever that really means. They were talking about You Better Have My Money, the Rihanna one, they might do a prequel or a sequel. I'm with you. I don't care how bad it is or not. I want to see, you just want to revisit the characters.
Tell him what happened with the Rihanna playing her husband.
Oh, Rihanna, it was so cute because it's a little different from how you think of it.
Okay.
By the way.
Show me.
Okay, you'll be hearing the story for the first time. So we got a call. Eric had just been in France doing a series of hair product commercials for these. They have these directing teams there and these directing companies. And he was set to go for one of the same companies to Germany to do another bunch of stuff. And we got a call for him to come and do Bitch Better Have My Money, to play the husband of the girl that Rihanna and her crew kidnapped. And he was supposed to be the one, he was the guy, he and his wife were supposed to be the one who owed her money. And so they kidnapped the wife and try to get him to pay up, holding the wife hostage for ransom, right? So it was going to be Eric. we had a big problem with the days. He was supposed to go to Germany, and it was the same European directing team that was directing all of these things, including the one in Europe. And Rihanna directed hers, but it was with that team behind her.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, don't you check with yourselves? I mean, you just booked the same actor for 2 things, and now I'm tearing my hair out trying to figure out the schedule because I also manage him. So we're trying to figure it out, and I'm freaking out because there's no way he's not going to do a Rihanna video.
Yeah.
I mean, there's just no way.
We love the girl.
And I'm working with the people who are amazing. And then they're like, we'll figure it out. Just screw it. Just come for the wardrobe fit. Come for wardrobe fit. I don't even know what wardrobe we're going to put him in because I don't know what we're going to do. And we go to some Beverly Hills hotel or something. We're all there. Rihanna's there. And she comes out and she's like, you're so fine. Your husband is so fine. And I'm like, thank you. And she goes, I think I know what we can do because he's too fine to kill. We're not going to have him play that girl's husband. Because at the end, the guy's like, I don't care about my wife. I'm not paying the money. And so the crew makes friends with the wives and goes and kills him. I might want to use him for the sequel, see? So we're not going to do that. We're going to have him be the CHP officer, the cop, man in uniform, kind of a bad boy cop guy, right? I mean, not a bad cop like bad cops as we know them today, but just kind of a dumb cop. We're going to do that. And that shoots on different days, problem solved. So Eric was like, I said I'm too fine to kill. So I helped them cast the guy playing the husband. And that was a scramble. We had to send the storyboard to like 85 stars.
And my wife said, so now you have to write a biography because we have to call it Too Fine to Kill.
Right.
That's good.
No.
So anyway, so he played the CHP guy, which left it open for anything could happen, right?
Yeah.
The other guy's dead. And that's the story of how that all came to pass.
Oh my God.
Off our scheduling issue. Which is very nice of her.
That's because he's Eric Roberts. Because she wanted Eric Roberts in the thing. Just like those people's home movies, They want Eric Roberts. It's so cool.
It's so true. Yeah.
This has been amazing. We're at an hour, so I really appreciate you guys taking the time.
Very fun. You're okay. I emailed you. Did you get my email?
Did you just send something recently?
I sent it right before we started, so you'll get it. I'm sure you'll get it. If you don't, tell Lori so that she can connect us.
I will.
Because I want to get all your handles so that we can go on your socials.
Oh, I will. Yeah. I'll send them over to you.
Okay,
cool.
good.
Yeah,
Send everything.
You guys rock, man. This is amazing. You guys are amazing people.
You're a cool cat, man.
Thanks, man.
Kiss your baby. Kiss your not 17-month-old.
Not 17. Yeah, it's got to be a 19, 20.
You're close. 20. About
20. Okay.
I'll
have it written on my hand from now on.
Wait, December, January, February, March. Yeah, like 19, 20. You're
all right,
really
19, 20.
Okay.
I'll write it down. Sorry, and then I'll change it every month. First of the month, I'll set a reminder. But
pretty soon you're going to be able to say it in years. You're okay.
Yes. All right. Well, thanks, guys. Stay safe.
Peace out, pal.
Thanks, Eric. Bye.
Bye.
Wasn't that amazing? I had the opportunity to interview Eric and Eliza Roberts, and the compliments they still, even now, just I've watched it like 3-4 times already because it just makes me feel good. Him saying I'm a cool dude, her saying that I have a look. Whew, that was amazing. So I'll put all their social media links in the bottom. You got to follow them. They're amazing. And Eric has a lot of exciting movies coming up. And next week, we're going to be covering one of my favorite Eric Roberts movies I grew up loving, Best of the Best Part 2. The movie's insane. You heard the stories about him being a huge part in getting one of my favorite bad guys, Wayne Newton, into this movie because Wayne's role is tops. So don't forget to watch Best of the Best Part 2. And don't forget to review, rate, share our podcast. Follow us on all social media @Sequels Only. And don't forget to check out our website, sequelsonly.com. Good night.